Yes, yes, yes. It is the Castworthy podcast, and we are back to thirds of the gang, and our third amigo is on his way. I'm Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the X Machine, joined by EJ the Savage. I know
Savage.
Savage. I know it looks like he's connecting from a local facility, but that is not the case. It is not a collect call from your local correctional facility.
Yo. Yeah. D block.
He's not on death row.
Oh, shit.
It's
Yo,
June
wow.
23rd, Sunday, June 23rd. It is officially summer. And you could tell by EJ sitting in a wife beater that Baltimore, it probably hit 75 degrees because, in the
100.
hood.
100. It was 100 yesterday. It was 90 before 12 o'clock yesterday. Yo, this is crazy.
Out of nowhere, right? Last week he was complaining it was cold.
2 weeks ago. Happy Juneteenth, though. It
Happy
said
Juneteenth.
they wanted to the weather wanted to remind us of when
Of
we were
Africa?
slaves. When we were slaves.
When we were free, you mean?
When we got free.
Back home.
Jeez.
It is June 23rd. It's the Castworthy Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or X, Twitter. Just by searching Castworthy, CASTWORTHY. You can also find us on your streaming platforms. Most common are going to be, or easiest is Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because both of those are in your phone and it's free. You got Spreaker, you got iHeartRadio, you got or iHeart Podcast, whatever they're calling it now. Pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, and most importantly, YouTube, because you can see this dashingly handsome face and EJ.
Hey,
What's going on, man? What was your week like?
the week's been cool, Juneteenth this week. So we were DC government was off Wednesday. And yeah, it was rough going into work the rest of the week. But hey, no complaints, man. All is well. It's kid free this weekend, so I was out here able to move around and bop around. So everything was cool. I can't complain.
What'd you end up doing last Sunday on Father's Day after the pod? Anything?
Just smoked a cigar or two, had a couple drinks to myself, and I went to brunch. Yeah, that was it. I went to brunch for myself, smoked some cigars, had a drink or two, and I went to sleep. No, I'm lying. I think I went and got drunk.
You seen anybody at the brunch spot, or like you just pop in and it be strangers in there?
I mean, I typically know someone everywhere I go here, but for the most part, it was just some strangers. It was cool. Ladies were very nice, wishing me happy Father's Day and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, you
Yeah,
have a do you have a baby father to say happy Father's Day to?
you
If
have a
not,
father,
do you want one?
right?
So
Y-
yeah, it was
Yeah, I
fun.
remember. I remember those days, man. Like small town, or back home in the urban areas, you could pop out and find
Like
find
you had to look around, make
in the
sure you're
urban.
safe.
That's right. You could find go out and see somebody pretty much anywhere.
Hmm.
Now I go out here and probably not bumping into nobody. I don't know nobody out here, but so that's why I asked. Like, so yeah, you go out, see somebody link up, have a couple drinks, mingle a little bit,
Hmm.
see if there was any new buns out there.
Hmm. I told a lot of people, I said it's Father's Day, send nudes. They didn't send nudes though. It's fine. I'm still working
Sun
on that.
Sun's out, buns out.
Sun's out, buns out. Send me nudes. If you love me, send me nudes.
Indeed.
You feel me?
Uh, we're probably right about a month away from my trip to Baltimore to see the New York.
This nigga's lying.
to see the New York Yankees play the Baltimore Orioles and get some. I
This
don't
nigga
even. What
lying.
do they have in Baltimore? They don't have whoopie pies. That's like Northeast.
What?
Y'all
I
got
don't know what that is.
crawfish, right? No, crawfish is
Crab
done.
crab cakes,
Oh, crab cakes.
crabs. This is yeah.
I don't
You
want
know
crabs. I'm not going to Baltimore to get crabs.
why
Is
not?
crabs a thing anymore?
Yeah, we in the Chesapeake Bay. The Chesapeake Bay is famous for Maryland blue crabs.
Oh, I fucks with crab. Crab
Yeah.
meat. Crab
There
meat.
I know a guy who's from Tampa that was like he's one of my old teammates. He was like, we got crabs in Tampa, Maryland. So over man, shut the fuck up. Maryland has crabs. This is in abundance. We're in the Chesapeake Bay, and we get all type of wildlife in it because of the weather. So you know, yeah. Oh,
Well,
my Wi-Fi looks a little spotty in this joint.
slightly, slightly so, slightly so. I'm gonna have to load up my Uber account before I go up there because I don't want to catch the Justin Timberlake DWI.
Yeah, how about that?
JT was wilding. JT had my boy had Molly. He had a crazy mix. He had he had Molly and he had what's the shit that Truvada.
That's a wild report, yo.
Nigga had Molly, Truvada, and Coke. So he was getting coked up, mollied up to stay up, and then the Truvada prevents the HIV.
I don't
Allegedly.
believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that. Free my man
Allegedly.
JT.
Nah, I fucks with. I told you he black though. I told you he
JT,
black. He
my
was
guy. I
he.
told you we needed to do a versus him and Chris Brown. That would have been a good versus.
Nah, he gonna lose. But we remember we had the conversation between him and Robin Thicke, and y'all niggas chose Robin Thicke.
No, I
And
did not me.
yeah, you and VP was like,
No, I
yeah,
did not me.
Robin Thicke blacker
Not
because
me.
he's
Not
done
me.
it. JT,
N-
my guy, man. I fuck with
Not
Justin
me.
Timberlake. Yo. That's what I'm
I
saying.
wanted to do a whole versus against anyone and Chris Brown and JT. I said that. I would take JT.
You'd lose. You'd lose.
I told you
Chris,
I could play
Chris
some
Brown.
shit.
Chris Brown is different though. Chris Brown is different.
Chris Brown really don't, in my opinion, he don't really have a lot of grown hits to me.
Chris Brown is different, yo.
All right, let's do the verses one day. I'm
Chris
ready.
Brown. Chris Brown got Chris Chris Brown got a DV on one of the biggest artists ever to grace
Yeah, that nigga
R&B,
wild.
and he's still out there scoring like crazy.
That shit
Like
is wild.
CB is untouchable, yo. He's the
That
dude,
shit
man.
is wild, yo. He beat the shit out of her, and still, yeah,
Allegedly,
oh,
we
he
don't
got it
know.
right.
We don't know that he hit her. We just know that she got out the car lumped up because the video didn't show her getting hit. It just showed her getting out lumped up. So
Rihanna's a baddie too, yo.
she is. That's my cousin though, so we can't really talk like that. You know.
Really?
Yeah, Barbados is only about 300 people,
It's
so
only
we
four
got
niggas. It's only four niggas on the
exactly.
island.
We gotta. If we trace back, we gotta be related somewhere. So
Facts.
I got a little
Facts.
forehead too. If I take my hat off, you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
Not the dolphin forehead like she got her shit. Rihanna got that shit. She looked like Megamind.
The Navy, I am part of the Navy. Do not cancel us.
I'm part of the Navy too, yo. That's my cousin. I just told you that. You can make fun of your cousins, like I make fun of you.
This nigga said the dolphin.
She got a head, yo. She got a head. Um, yeah,
Nigga,
man.
wow. This nigga, wow.
I had some crab legs last week. Matter of fact, Father's Day, I got out, went in the pool, chilled with the kid, and had some crab legs and some scallops and some scrumps for dinner.
Mm.
Nothing crazy, something light, something light. Slow week for the most part for me. Nothing too crazy going on. Yesterday, so now I know how women feel when they go
Okay.
to the grocery store. Because I had to go to Home Depot yesterday.
Mm.
Now, Home Depot, for a man, when he comes up with this idea of, yo, I'm going to try this or do this, is an amazing trip.
Hmm.
We love Home Depot when it's, something we chose to do. But
Amen.
when we don't choose to do it and it's something unforeseen and we have to go, it's like a pain in the ass. So now I know how women feel when they got to go to the grocery store. I had to go to Home Depot yesterday. My closet fell, and so I had to rebuild the closet yesterday. And Home Depot was popping yesterday morning, like popping. I got there mad early too. I got there probably like 9:30,
Mm.
maybe earlier than that, between 9 and 9:30. By the
Hmm.
time I left, it was probably an hour later because when I be in there, I'll be making life decisions and shit. Um, the shit was it looked like the club, yo.
They had yoga pants on
And
or
yeah, oh,
sundresses.
of course, no, not sundresses at Home Depot. It was yoga pants and jeans. You know, it'd be the studs in there in Home Depot that work for the construction companies. They send the studs to Home Depot to get the extra parts. Like, yo, we ran out of pipe. Go get pipe.
Cause
And
they frugal, yo.
yeah, so
They can't send the Spanish dudes. Like everybody that's ever done work on my house that has like that contract Spanish dudes, they be mad because these motherfuckers when they go to Home Depot, they buy the most expensive shit. Like dude was like, yeah, I would get rid of the water heater for you, but I gotta save some money somewhere because these guys got the most expensive one. I was like, hey, your
right,
price is
yeah,
your price, my man.
yeah, they got gold pipe, not
Yeah,
copper.
copper, right? Dude's wild. That's funny.
Yeah, um, so yeah, I went into Home Depot, got my parts, rebuilt the closet yesterday, but it was definitely by the time I left out of there, shit was it was going.
Mm.
It was some shit in there. And dudes walk up in there with their girls, to try and be like, "Oh, look at this, babe. This is a blah 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 ratchet head." Try to show off like they Gen Z. They ain't about that. Like they about don't even
Nah,
change their tires.
facts.
But Home Depot was popping. Rebuilt the closet. Yesterday was pretty uneventful, nothing too crazy. VP is here, so we will welcome him to the show. We don't really give a shit about him. We just want to make sure that TJ knows that. Shout out to him for is it committing? What are they
Committing
committing to? What is it?
Saint
Mackenzie Saint
Saint
Mackenzie's
Saint something.
Saint Xavier.
Saint Xavier,
Saint Xavier.
Mackenzie
There we go.
Xavier, all the same.
That boy going to Chicago, he about to freeze his nuts off.
Show Liz.
Hey yo.
Show Liz.
That boy about to freeze. I'm with it. I can't wait. I can't wait to laugh at his ass. He gonna freeze. That's
Yeah.
cold. I'm gonna send that boy a hoodie a month. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nuts.
He definitely gonna be cold.
Oh,
He,
brother.
he is definitely going to be
Brother.
cold.
He has no idea.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
VP the magnanimous.
Which,
Magnanimous. This guy.
hey, wait,
Oh, Game of Thrones does come out tonight. It does come on tonight. I forgot already.
comes on tonight. It was on last
Fact.
week. We gonna get to it. Don't be speeding. Y'all be speeding. Y'all be in here like, oh, 4 topics. Let's get them all done in the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
I'm nervous about this pod.
No intro.
Yo, he said he's nervous about this pod.
What
Yeah,
you
I
nervous?
mean, Steve got on a heat hat. EJ wearing a wife beater. I don't know where this thing could go.
EJ is tuning in from a local correction facility.
Yeah, phone time. Phone time.
We got a collect call from Baltimore State Correctional Facility. VP, did you do anything fun yesterday or last week for Father's Day?
Nah, man, just chill.
What you eat? Oh, you
Had
ended
some
up.
steak. Had a
Erin
steak.
went to the whatchamacallit, right? She went to the food trucks. Was that last week?
Yeah, the food trucks was last. I think that was 2 weeks ago because I think it's the first Sunday in June that they do it.
What you ended up getting?
So, I ended up getting some food from this. It was I don't know like what style of food it was. If it was like Spanish or like black or whatever, but I ended up getting they had like some steak and chicken kind of thing I got with some yellow rice and some greens. Shit was all whack. Terrible, terrible.
Told you. I don't know why y'all be trying these crazy. Listen, it's certain. If I don't tell you about the food truck, it's probably ass juice here in Central Florida. Because you know what it is. Everybody moves to Florida, right? And they are the bottom of the barrel of the cooks in
Wherever
their
they came
city
from.
where they came from, and they think they're gonna bring their cultured food down here, and then you eat it like, oh, look at this empanada, and you eat a fucking $10 empanada, and the shit tastes like ass. Like
Yeah,
this shit
that
is
shit was whack.
people that
Yep.
generally people that open up food trucks in Orlando, they're usually well off in wherever they came from. So they'd be like, "Oh, this is New York style pizza," and then you eat it. The shit tastes like Elios.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Like the one thing I can say for them is like they tried to season it well, but it's like the flavors just wasn't good. But
Mhm.
the chicken, I had like a steak and chicken thing or whatever. The chicken was like very juicy. So, most people struggle, cooking chicken, like it'd be dry and shit like that. So, they got that part right at least. It just didn't taste good.
Was it
So
dark? Was it dark meat or white meat? Because I'm
no,
not impressed by any.
it was like a chicken breast.
Oh, okay, so it's white meat. All right, that
Yeah.
that impresses me. I don't get impressed when people keep dark meat
Juicy.
moist because that shit fat. That shit
Yeah.
tastes amazing though. But white meat, I mean, I don't like white meat chicken. This shit dry as shit.
Yeah, and that's
Er,
usually my fear with it. But like I said, with them, the chicken was very, very juicy. It just wasn't seasoned well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, let's see. So EJ started off and talked about Juneteenth. So why don't we start there? Juneteenth was an eventful Juneteenth. Before we get to the biggest event that people are talking about, let's talk about a little smaller event that took place on Juneteenth. Versus Timbo and Swizz popped up on Juneteenth. They were taking pictures with Elon Musk on a boat somewhere, and they announced that they've reached a deal with X to bring Versus back. And this is on Juneteenth. Now, Juneteenth, the morning of Juneteenth, if you wake up and you look at any of these blog sites, you see Elon Musk likes a post about black people killing white people, right? So there was a post on X that said that somebody said, well, statistics show that more white people are killed by black people than black people killed by white people annually, and it was basically justifying black people being killed by white people because more white people are killed by black people. And Elon Musk likes that post. This is on Juneteenth, June 19th, 2024. And then Timbo and Swizz decide now is a great time, 3 hours later, to announce our partnership with Elon Musk for our hip hop cultured event of Versus. How do you guys think that was accepted? Don't worry, I'm gonna spoil it. It was accepted poorly. In all the comments, everybody's like, "Oh, what the fuck's wrong with you? Tone deaf? What are you doing? Blah blah blah." How do you guys feel about that? I'll start with EJ because I know VP hates Elon, so I know his answer.
Well, I mean, Swiss and Timbo are, millionaire people, very wealthy, very rich, and they are very tone deaf from the average people, from the average black people. Now, I can also say black people are very fickle in what they choose to stand for and believe in. But
Mm-hmm.
we talking about two people that are in the industry. I mean, the fact that you're even doing business with this person based on a lot of things that they've done and what they stand for is very questionable. And I mean, again, at the end of the day, right? You had the Versus platform. The people supported y'all, right? You didn't need Elon Musk. We were there through the pandemic. We had y'all. We supported y'all. We've been waiting forever for y'all to come back and do these things. But at the end of the day, it showed that y'all were really just about business, right? So they really don't care about the people. They're not in tune with the people at all. We had the moment for verses. We've been clamoring for verses. We've been talking about good verses. What would be this one? What would be that one? We've been doing this and waiting forever. And they decided they wanted to choose business damn near with the devil, over everything else. So I mean, these guys, they way out of touch. They in that same basket as Jay-Z for me. They way out of touch. We can't expect these people to relate to the people. They're not of the people. They're just on another level. And I'm not surprised. So I'll let VP go in and do his thing on this one.
Nah, I think that what EJ said at the end there, where it's like, they're on a different level. They're not of the people. And like these guys maybe started from the streets or whatever it
No
was.
justifying. That doesn't justify it.
No,
So
no, I'm not
go
saying it
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
justifies it. I'm not saying it justifies it. What I'm saying is that it seems like for a lot of our folks, once you reach a certain level of success and wealth, you're able to look past certain things of people, right? And it comes back to that whole thing, how how when people say, like Trump is racist and you have black people, I've been around him, he's never been racist, like
Yeah.
he's never called me a nigger to my face. So like
Right.
what are people talking about?
Right.
As if
He
like
eats fried chicken.
as if a person can't have two faces, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of the way that people would act in this Elon situation, over the last couple years, as Elon has gotten wealthier, he's become more right wing. He is saying more stuff that is racist adjacent, or flat out racist. And you look at things like when he bought Twitter, letting all the white supremacists back on it, and um liking posts that talk about insane racist shit or whatever. And so this is just who Elon is. And it's like Maya Angelou says, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And he keeps showing us this, and people use their credibility, their black skin, to say, no, I don't know. Like, get a guy shot. Like, come on now, I don't know if he really feels like that. Or they'll try to say stuff like people would say with Trump back in 2016, right? I mean, he's just kidding. You can't take him serious. He's just trolling and shit like that. But if you're a person of that much wealth, that much success, and you know how cancel culture is and all this stuff like this, right? You would think that you would be a little bit more careful in order to not mess up your own bag, with doing some of this stuff. And he doesn't. Either one, he is insanely cocky, which he is, and feels like his bag can't be messed up at all. So I'm just going to do whatever I want to do, whether it's trolling or not. Or two, this is who he really is. And I think that it's two. It's who he is.
They had
Yeah,
the
we need to say, I'm gonna go out there and say, Elon, touch me.
back in South Africa, the time you went.
Yeah, back in 1999.
He said he was swatting a fly off my ass.
I need 2 million to keep quiet.
I need
Immediately.
right. I can. Yeah, exactly. Swiss and Timbo should know better than this, right? Like, this is my problem with us is when they get rich, it's not that they forget. It's that when they get rich, and obviously you want to get richer, people do anything to be accepted. And I feel like this is a move to be accepted into that next level of group. This is a way to try and be those guys that replace Diddy at those tables, because Diddy's off of those tables now, right? And so who do I rub elbows with? Elon Musk, a Trump supporter, a guy who makes statements about LGBTQ plus the community extremely negatively, the guy who endorses Trump day after day on his platform, the guy that switched that platform and allowed racism to be openly spoken and said, well, it's the freedom of speech for people to scream out nigger on X time after time. This is the guy that you decide to do business with. Like, there aren't other people. Zuckerberg, for example, would allow you to sign a deal. There's so many other options that they could have chosen, and this was just a tone deaf. And to EJ's point, he says oh, I put them in the bucket of Jay-Z. No, I feel like they didn't call Jay-Z. Because I feel like if they called Jay-Z or somebody like that and said, yo, I got this deal on the table, how do you think it's gonna be accepted? Those are the people that if you're in, B levels and you're trying to get to the A level celebrity piece, call your group, call your people that are in that A level and be like, yo, I got this amazing deal. What do you think? And you might still make the other decision, but this is clear that they didn't reach out to anybody that's respected in their groups to be like, yo, I think this is a good idea. Because I think those people would have been like, yo, are you sure? And even if you are sure and you're going to do it, Juneteenth may not be the day to come out and be like, yo, guess what? We got something for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd say they in the Jay-Z basket because Jay has done that. Jay has been the guy to switch the mold for things, right? He came out and he said, "Yo, we don't drink Chris no more because they racist, or we don't do this." He's been that guy to turn the needle. Even when it came to NFL, everybody, not us, because we're avid NFL fans and we know what it was, right? But everybody was mad when they did whatever they did and Kaepernick got blackballed. Jay was the guy that said, "You know what? I'm gonna make you like the NFL again. I'm gonna go out there, get this deal, get the concerts, get the talent. I got y'all, So I say that to say he's a businessman. He's not a businessman, he's a businessman. This is what Swiss and them and Timbo did. They chose the bag over the culture. And these are the same people. It's nasty at this point because these are the same millionaire people that want to say they represent the culture, i.e. the culture, but it's not the culture because you don't represent the everyday person. You're tone deaf. You just made a deal with the devil, to your point, that they didn't have to do. They could have went anywhere else. They could
there's
have
a
got
lot of
YouTube.
other
They could have got
places.
Facebook. Could anything. They chose this guy.
YouTube is popping right now.
Right. And versus, I mean, if you think about versus, like when you mention Facebook, I mean, versus started popping on IG, which is owned by
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you could have went there and been like, yo, let's
Keep it
let's do
going.
it.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
They went to
And
X, one of
and
the most unreliable social media platforms.
Exactly.
right. And not only that, but now you're gonna have these events, these black events that could be taking place, right? That we consider black events. And we see what X has turned into. X has turned into a MAGA space, a place for negativity, a place for racism. What do you think those comments are going to look like?
Yep.
Versus took off because you had people like Kev on stage. You had people like all these celebrities and all these people we look up to that made us laugh throughout the pandemic and helped us get through a difficult time. In those comments, still making us laugh and commenting and interacting with other people. You're now going to have that comment section look a whole ass mess. You're going to have bots in there saying all types of wild shit. You're going to have racists in there saying all types of wild shit. And then you'll have the sprinkled individual. And not to mention, this is going to be something that you're going to do. And hopefully they get a lot more creative with it because people are touring again. So if I have the choice to go see Justin Timberlake in person, if I have the choice to go see Chris Brown in person, is someone going to sit home on a Saturday night when outside is open again to watch two groups battle each other?
They missed the moment. They missed the mark. We've been waiting. If you're in tune with the culture, it's been how many years now since we've had verses, a verses? I don't even remember when the last one was.
Like two maybe.
Maybe 2 years. So it's like
And
you missed
and
the
they
moment.
announced it poorly. You the first picture was them and Elon on a yacht. Like, that's not, yo, guess what we did for the culture. That's, yo, look at us. We getting money.
Yeah.
Look at the life we live in with this dude. Like, that's what that is. That's not, yo, we gonna go put people, like when they did Triller, they came out and they were like, yo, I know you guys are questioning it. We're still 51% owners. It's still black owned. We want to get other people on board. The people that come through here are going to get a stake in it. They're going to have masters to this shit. That's how they did Triller. They came out with X and looked like coons. Sorry.
Wow.
They look
Ooh.
like, matter of fact, they looked like they were taking verses and making it what Leonardo DiCaprio was looking at in Django. That's what I took that announcement to be.
Damn.
Tone deaf. Do better. You got to do better.
Yeah.
And who's left? Who's left? They're gonna have to branch out. You're gonna run out of artists.
Yeah.
I mean,
You,
it's still some big ones, pause, that they didn't get
hey,
on there. It's still some big artists that they didn't get on there. But at
EJ
this
wants to
point,
see
to
the
your
big
point,
ones.
at this point, to your point, I mean, if these people are touring, Chris Brown is outside, taking pictures with wifed up women for 1,000. This dude taking a $1,100 picture and breaking up happy homes.
People are paying for that.
So I mean, who we really,
Yeah.
who we really gonna want to see on Versus at this point? It's been
I
2
mean,
years.
I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing, but you're gonna have to get back into. It's gonna have to be DJs again. Maybe they got to start back there. Like, remember, this shit started because Swiss and Timbo went at it, and then I forget who the next DJ was, or producer for that matter, but
What's his
it
name?
started
You gonna owe me for this. Who's that? Just Blaze. Just Blaze.
Blaze. Yep, yep.
Just
So it's just
Blaze.
Blaze. And it started because of that, and people were just like, "Yo, this is fire!" Seeing these people go back and forth for the stuff they've produced, the stuff they've created. But for songs, like I don't know, man. Like I think we've seen some of those big names already. I mean, we still have the Chris Brown Usher that everybody would hope for, and that would be a good one. I think I love Chris
That would
Brown,
be
but
fire.
I think he gets washed in that. But I think it's an amazing one, and I think if they do it live somewhere, like you do it in Atlanta, you know what I mean? It's gonna be crazy. Or you do it in Virginia, or DC, where Chris Brown is from, that area, is gonna be fire,
Mhm.
right? Um, but then it's gonna start to pan down, right? And you have to keep that high level. You know what I mean? You can't come with these two superstars at the top and then be like, "Yo, by the way, we got Mr. Vegas and Tantro Metro and Devontae." You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
nobody cares. You waited 2 years to get the business side done, which is great for you. Great. I mean, who it's America, right? Who's to tell you you don't need more money? But don't say it's for the culture. Don't say anything
Right.
like that, because the culture has been absent of Versus, and then now you take it to one of the worst platforms it could be, one of the worst people you could do business with,
Yes.
and you want us to eat. You want us to eat a shit sandwich and act like it's a fucking hero. Nah, come on, man. This is
Yeah.
nasty.
And that's like, that's something I tell people, like when I'm talking politics, about like some of these black people you see on Fox News, where I don't or at Fox, I don't even like calling it Fox News, but you know like the Whitlocks and those folks like that, right? Where I don't think that these people really believe that shit. They're just saying it because they know they can get a check, you know
Mhm.
and it's one thing if you believe shit like that, and the shit is still disgusting, but like it's like, damn, at least the person believes this. It's fucked up what they believe, but that's their belief. Whereas these people are saying, let me say what these other folks believe because they want to hear it out of my mouth in order to legitimize their point, and I'm gonna get a check out of it, so it's all good. And then in the background of your head, you're thinking, you know, yeah, this shit is fucked up, but I mean, the country's better than this, so we're not gonna go there. We won't elect Trump, and I can say all this crazy shit. We won't have January 6th. I can say all this crazy shit.
Mhm.
And then you see them doubling and tripling down on the most heinous shit. You know what I'm saying? Like think about a guy like a Whitlock, for example, when somebody spray painted nigger on LeBron's driveway or,
House.
or his
Yep.
garage or whatever,
Yep.
and he was like, "That's not a big deal." It's the fucking, you know what I'm saying? And it's ridiculous, man.
Listen,
This shit is it's
Candace
ridiculous.
Candace
Go ahead,
Owens said it.
no.
Candace Owens said it. She was like, "Yo, there is a lot of money in being a black Republican supporting individual." She said it. And
Hmm.
she was like, and she was trying to justify, but for me, I say things different. I support black people, blah, blah, blah. So that's what she went on to say. But she started by saying, yo, there's a lot of money in being a black person that supports the Republican ideology.
And there is.
She said that.
I told y'all we need to front at
That's
least
why we
for a
see
year and do it.
that's why we see all these bum ass rappers. We see Trump at all these rallies with these bum ass rappers. You don't see no big names up there. They like, oh, I got IQ7 Quan up here. Who the
Kodak
fuck
Black.
is who are these people, dog? Like you finding people that can be bought, and that's what Swiss and Tim look like to me. They look like they can be bought, and they look like they were bought, and maybe they were in the hole with Triller or other people from some of the deals they made during the pandemic, and then the pandemic ended, and they didn't have enough verse. I don't know. Maybe they had to find a way to get bought out of holes that they were in, but this is not it. This is not the move. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
But Juneteenth, what else happened on Juneteenth?
Additionally, on Juneteenth, from what I understand, there
Kendrick
had
freed the
some
slaves.
something took place with slaves. Yeah, something took place with slaves, and I'm pretty sure it happened in Inglewood because that's what people are acting like.
That's the Mecca. That's the Mecca of all black people now.
For real.
Compton.
Shout out to California, man. I want to go out there though. I still want to go out there.
Never been?
Shout out to Nipsey. No, I've never been to Cali. Shout out to
Ooh.
Nipsey. Rest in peace, Nipsey. He probably would respect this for what it became, but there's probably some pieces of it that he wouldn't support the best. But let's get it started. Kendrick Lamar did his pop out concert. It was Kendrick and friends, and you had a host of people. You had DJ Mustard. You had Ray Vaughn popped out. A bunch of local talent. Cuzzos, Ruzy, Jay Worthy, West Side Boogie, and then you get into some other guys. Tommy the Clown, Mustard pops out, Don Kennedy, Tyler the Creator popped out, Roddy Rich popped out, some bigger guys. YG pops out, which is crazy because Drake shouted out YG in his diss track to Kendrick, but whatever. I don't know if you guys saw it. I did not see the whole thing. I got home and I saw, actually, I was on my way home from work and I saw people posting about it. And then I was like, yo, isn't this supposed to be streamed somewhere? And sure enough, Amazon picked it up. So I turned on Amazon Prime Video. And by the time I got in there, I caught it right at the beginning of when Kendrick came out. So that was perfect. I didn't need to see all that other junk because I don't care about none of them. I don't care about Tyler Creator. I don't care about YG. I don't care about none of them other bums. In my eyes, right? That's not my music. It's not the music I support. So I'm sure there's people that love it, but to me, that music is not for me. Just like those same people from Cali be like, "Oh, Jay-Z's not a top rapper all time." Like to me, those bums that you listen to over there are bums, and give me the big guy. Pause. In Kendrick Lamar, who's really the little guy. But I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you guys see it, or
Lil Kenny.
did you guys see clips of it at all?
I saw clips. I didn't see it.
Okay.
I saw people talking about it.
I'll start. And give you guys where it pops, right? So Kendrick comes out, he does Euphoria, which was fire. Shit was dope. Then he does a couple other tracks that I don't really know too much of. DNA, Element, a couple of them, right? And then he goes into Humble, right? Which was dope. And then I want to show you what really, like, I thought this whole thing was fire, but let me show you what happens, right? Where my criticism comes in. Let me know when you guys can hear this or see this. Bitch, be humble. Be humble. Sit down. This is a pretty big stage too, and the stream was pretty clear. Like this is as clear as it really was. Eaglewood, make some motherfucking noise for yourself right now. So check this out. He's doing Be Humble. He does his little that track. Hold up. And then we get the biggest track probably of the beef, or what started the beef, right? Everyone's like, oh, what's happening? Maybe I should pull my phone out and record. Great opportunity. And he gives them like that. And that shit hit crazy. Right? That shit is so fire, yo. That beat is crazy. Yo, to flip Barry White in your beef is wild, yo.
It is. That shit is. That track is fire.
So he does that, right? And after that, he brings out Dre, right? Dre is huge. Pause. In Cali, right? When you talk about Cali B, and maybe Dre got there late. I just feel like they did this out of order. I feel like it was supposed to be like that, and then they were probably gonna get into Not Like Us. Dre probably popped up late. They probably didn't think he was coming, so they did like that. And then Dre does pop up, and he does Still Dre, which is fire. Then he does California Love, right? And so let's see. Let me bring it back for you. Because after he finishes California Love, Dre's about to walk off the stage, and
Uh,
Kendrick is like, "Yo, come back here. I want, isn't there something you want to say to people, right?" Let me pull it back up for you guys. Here we go. He tells him, "Come back."
I see dead people. Hey, must have on a beat, how deep, bro. Any rap nigga, he a freak, though. Man down, call an ambulance, tell him please, bro.
So let me tell you what my criticism to that is. And you guys can tell me how you feel about it. I feel like the like that transition where they went dark should have been the Not Like Us transition. I shouldn't get a bigger applause or feeling from Like That, which is someone else's track, than Not Like Us, which is the last track that you did. It's the biggest track that you did. It's the track that's supposed to be taken over. It's the track that you named the concert after. Like, I just feel like they could have done better with that transition. That transition, then they did it 5 times, and a bunch of people came out and danced on the stage, and they brought out some Bloods and Crips and stuff like that. But that's my criticism to it. So I'll ask you guys your thoughts from the clips that you've seen or the versions that you've seen, and the other stuff that you've heard. Because I know EJ's been hearing a lot about it.
I mean, I think that you're right. That I mean that seems almost like how you end the concert. You know, you do the lights out thing, you come back on with what's the song called? It's Like That. They Not Like Us, whatever.
Not Like
Um,
Us.
Not like yeah. You come back with that. You know, do it 5 times in a row, all that kind of stuff. But that should have been like the. I mean, it was the moment everybody was talking about, but it could have been bigger if they did that whole thing with the lights out, with the fire popping out the stage, all that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I mean, I assume that they sit down. You know, they know the way they want to the set list, the order they want to play it in, and all that kind of stuff like that. They probably have like a person who's like a director of the concert, and they agree this is how we're gonna do it. You know, whatever. But you know, sometimes people don't. I'll put it this way. You know how when you watch those house flipping shows and like a person walks in a house that is still looks like a hoarder house, and they're like, okay, we're gonna knock out this wall, boom, boom, move the kitchen over here, we're gonna put that, boom, we're gonna add a closet, do, and they're just visualizing it, just looking at this space like full of mattresses and dirty clothes and garbage and shit. And then me, I walk in that same road, I'm like, what the hell are we gonna do here? you know and it could
Yeah.
be like a situation like that, to where like whoever like put the thing together like couldn't see you know how the space would be filled. You know what I'm saying, like, to kind of use that butchered analogy.
No, I feel you.
yeah, no, good point. I think overall for me, it's the whole because we had already known, for those that might be aware, Joe Budden on his podcast had already talked about this concert coming up and that it would take place. For me, it's the people, it's the stands that want to akin Kendrick Lamar to Juneteenth, like almost like he freed the slaves. Like, oh, and he did this on Juneteenth. Like, bruh, he had a concert.
Yeah.
That's all. He had a concert. The proceeds didn't go, feed this person, to what we know, right? It wasn't a free concert for, I don't know, maybe the hood was, I don't know. But it was a concert. It's on Juneteenth, but he's not the liberator of slaves, right? This is the same guy that told Drake he's not black for having a white mother and a black father, but his wife is the same thing. So it's like, what are we talking about? And I just think the cult-like nature of his fans, he has some of the most rudimentary lyrics, some of the songs they like most are some of the most rudimentary stuff. Like it's just the wow, all this. It's the same thing that Meg Thee Stallion and them do when they doing their thing. It's the same thing like that. It's just, I think it's just too hyped. It's too overrated. He didn't free, like, bro. Drake was right. He raps like he frees the slaves, and apparently y'all felt that way on Juneteenth. He freed y'all.
But I mean, and also like for people, for people to use the Juneteenth like comparison or whatever, like it makes me think about remember when Chris Rock had that one special and he was like, we're just a few years away from people using like Martin Luther King and you'll see like in a mattress commercial, these mattresses are almost free at last, and
right.
like one, you got a holiday in the black tradition that a lot of people didn't even know existed. You're not taught this in school, etc. Right? Everything happens with George Floyd and that summer of protests and things like that, where people start becoming woke and all that kind of stuff like that. And we get this holiday, right? And it's been what, 3 years now, and they've already turned it into something that is commercialized, basically. It's just it's nasty, yo. And then also, if you think about like the biggest moment from this concert, right? It's you're essentially celebrating, I don't want to say black on black violence or whatever, but you got two black people going at each other, and then he brings out gang members and stuff like that, which these guys definitely deal in a lot of black on black violence. So how can you even like try to equate that to Juneteenth? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think a lot of people over there, like living in Cali and stuff like that, you know how gang culture was. You know how Nipsey was fighting for that, and now to see the groups come together and be like, "Yo, we can coexist on the stage," it was big,
But
for
it ain't
them.
the first time that they've done that before. They've been truces and all type of stuff before. Jabroni.
I just like the way it comes on. I like the way that shit
It's
comes
the
on.
beat is fire, but the lyrics are
Yeah,
trash.
the beat is fire.
The man said
beat-
jabroni. He said jabroni in a lyric,
yeah.
in a bar.
He watches wrestling, man. These kids like wrestling.
Hey.
Gen Z is a wrestling community. They like
Actually,
wrestling. They like Pokemon. They like Yu-Gi-Oh. They like what's the nigga with the white hair they be talking? That people say he can't get beat up. You know who I'm talking about, with the flamey hair type dude. They got the shirts of him and shit.
You talking about the
Goku, right? Is that his
Goku
name?
from Dragon Ball. Okay.
Yeah, that's what these kids like nowadays, and they attribute that, they compare that, they relate that to the culture. You know what I mean? Like, that is not the culture, because you sit at home and you study hip hop and you like hip hop doesn't make it the culture. Like, hip hop stands for more than sitting at home and listening to music. But I get what they like, right? I get and beyond
I like
that.
criticism, but you're not gonna.
These niggas acting like he freed the slaves.
No, he
did it on Juneteenth. And he did it on Juneteenth.
But I'm saying, like, with the
Kendrick
jabroni
Lamar and Abraham Lincoln are the same person.
line.
Like,
no,
that's
Harriet Tubman and Kendrick Lamar.
look.
He was channeling his inner Harriet. And if you on Facebook and they like, if you don't like this, then you're just not smart enough. If you don't like
you
Penny,
don't understand.
you just don't understand rap and the culture and Juneteenth.
I want to just say that he needs to send a check, a thank you note, or something to Drake, because Drake just took his career from here to here and put it off the boards, whether it's a win or lose. When we talk about, it doesn't even matter who won or lost the battle. Without that battle, Kendrick Lamar is still in New York doing push-ups, fighting with his wife. You know what I'm saying? Drake not only fixed his marriage by talking shit about his wife, but he propelled his career. They're calling this guy the GOAT because he beat Drake in a fucking rap battle. I heard Joe Budden, who you know I fuck with, EJ. I listen to the Joe Budden podcast every single week, twice a week. I heard him say Kendrick is the king of hip hop. Joe Budden, overreacting to this whole shit, called him the king of hip hop.
Yeah, but Budden be out of pocket, man. His Drake hate is just it's like
Joseph Budden.
It's like Steve with LeBron. It knows no bounds.
Joseph
Well,
Budden.
because he beefed with Drake. He did his thing. You know, they
got
had
beat.
their little thing.
He had motherfuckers run down on him because of Drake.
Yeah, the more white boys show up at his spot. But nonetheless, like, Drake propelled his career. He just made and so here's my thing, right? Here's my thing for Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar has always been big. He's always had his following. Now he has an amazing super fan following right now. There comes a responsibility with being the face of hip hop. There comes a responsibility of being the quote unquote number one guy in hip hop. Drake has handled that well. Drake has gone on these shows. Drake has gone on these tours. Drake has constantly had great summers. Jay-Z had those summers. 50 had those. 50 Cent had those summers. There's responsibility with that. What happens when Not Like Us falls off? Can Kendrick continue that? And that's the question that I have. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know that I have the most confidence in Kendrick Lamar to do that.
I don't because he hasn't been that artist thus far. I mean, people were claiming he was at a certain level before. He hasn't even represented the West well, in my opinion. And you know something else? The fact that Game didn't perform and wasn't there is a problem for me. I'm gonna tell you why. You know, I'm a big Game fan, and when you talk about the West Coast, Game is up there in the top 5 for me as a West Coast artist. Not only that, he's the guy that debuted Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar's biggest feature before he was anything was on Game's Red album. How do you not have this guy on stage with you and you got the West Coast out there? And I think Game kind of handled it, as best as he could, because people were coming at him like, you see, people don't fuck with you. Well, what? Nah, he should have been out there. He should have been out there. Not taking away from anything else. I just think Kendrick is just overrated, and he didn't free the slaves.
The Game is everything that the West Coast signified for years. The Game is the guy who was rocking red. He was blood out. Game is the guy who was a rapper making millions of dollars, took his camera phone and went and beat somebody up on video and recorded that shit. Like, Game he's about that life. He is Cali life. So yes, he should have been there, whether he turned it down or wasn't invited, whatever that looks like. But he should have been a part of that. Snoop should have been a part of that. Snoop said he was on tour, but you got to find a way to have Snoop there. And if Snoop can't be you, before you even play in that event, you're doing a West Coast event. Snoop Dogg is the biggest artist to ever come out of the West Coast by far, bar none, 100%. There's nobody that could touch him. Nobody. I don't care who you say. Eazy-E, he had AIDS. That's what made him big. Dr. Dre sold head. That's what made him big. Like, Snoop is the biggest artist that came out of the West Coast. You can't have an event representing the West Coast and not have Snoop there.
This nigga's wild.
Wow, yeah. Wow.
Cube wasn't there either. How do you not have Ice Cube there? I don't fuck with Cube. He's a Trump supporter, anti-vaxxer, all of that stuff.
That would have been a good NWA
that side of it.
That would have been a good NWA moment.
But I completely understand the need for him to be there in that type of event. You're saying, this is the West Coast. We have to salute our pioneers. And you have one pioneer there. Dre. One. The guy who had one album that got ghostwritten on everything. And you just fucking battled the guy for getting ghostwritten. You had him perform the song that Jay-Z wrote for him.
You thought
what
about
are we
this.
talking about,
you
dog?
Thought about this deep, didn't you?
No, this is the alcohol talking. But You can't be like, yo, Drake had ghost. If you're a Kendrick fan, and you were like, yo, Drake doesn't even write his own shit. And then Drake came out.
He brought a fellow woman beater on stage.
And then that too. And then Drake comes out and does Still Dre, and you bob into it. Still Dre was written by Jay.
Allegedly.
It was written by Hove. Like, what are we talking about?
And the other track was written by Snoop. The
California Love.
No. The joint, the one with him and Snoop on together, the big one, from the original
Dre Day, regular Dre Day.
Dre Day.
Yeah. So his two biggest tracks, Still Dre and Dre Day, was written by other people. What are we talking about here? What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know. I just think Kendrick's overrated. And this further proved my point. The man just had a concert and it happened to be on Juneteenth, and motherfuckers act like he freed the slaves.
I mean, there's a theme behind it, right? He's saying, like, I get the theme. You'd say this guy, he's white or he's half white, he's Canadian, he's not from the culture, he can't say nigga. We're gonna do it on Juneteenth. He said that I rap like I free the slaves. We're gonna do it on Juneteenth, right? Like, I get the theme behind it. It's the fans that make it tough. It's the fans, just like LeBron, VP, when you talk about it. I don't think people hate LeBron as much, for me at least. I don't really hate LeBron as much as I have to put out there to say I hate LeBron. Yo, LeBron James fans are going out there and saying that Michael Jordan is not Michael Jordan because they found some bullshit. Your boy, Nick Wright. How many stats could they have padded for Michael Jordan because they found this one season? Get the fuck out of here. You're telling me, oh, Michael Jordan, they padded stats for Michael Jordan. The guy comes out and says, yo, during that whole era, there were stats that could have been padded for anybody in their home stadium. They highlight one person. Get the fuck out of here. Suck my dick. And that's how I feel about Kendrick Lamar. And like, I don't hate Kendrick Lamar. I like his music. I like him as, as an artist. It's his fans that are making this shit like that.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think for most people who are LeBron haters, it's LeBron they hate. They're just not the fans.
I don't think so, yo. If you just stop comparing him to Michael Jordan, you lose that many. You lose probably 50% of the haters, quote unquote haters.
But I mean, that's part of the LeBron hate is that people. It seems like people feel like they have some kind of duty to protect the legacy of Jordan, and so because of that, they have to, shit on LeBron at any chance they get, which is why, these IG accounts with all these comparisons of, look, Jordan did this, like EJ's been saying, like, Jordan freed the slaves, and
there's no LeBron accounts like that. Not a one, right?
Jordan freed the slaves, and LeBron's getting JJ Redick hired. Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying?
Not a one. Not a one. Huh?
No, they exist on both sides. I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like you see it more coming from the Jordan camp than you do the LeBron camp.
Oh my God.
Of people just.
No.
I mean, it's just
crazy.
Nonstop.
You're crazy. No, because the thing with Jordan. Here's the thing with Jordan. Michael Jordan is the freestanding GOAT to majority of basketball fans and basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron fans, new fans, these young kids, that's their GOAT, and that's fine. He could be your GOAT, but those accounts start because they're like, oh, you said that Michael Jordan was the best scorer. Well, look at this. LeBron has the most points. Well, he played, X amount of fucking years over and over. And like, there's like, that's where the hate comes from. I don't think it comes from, a Michael Jordan fan having to say, oh, guess what? We got to protect this, because it didn't happen for Kobe. It didn't happen for Kobe, and Kobe was the closest one, or is the closest one, to Michael Jordan in play style and game style and stuff like that. I won't say as far as
was based off Jordan, but he's still number 3.
He was number 8. Number 8 and number 24.
Mm-hmm.
That was Kobe's numbers.
Both are divisible by 3. So that's fine.
Right.
And we're not 8. Sorry.
First of all, Michael Jordan is number 1 all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is number 2, and then after that, you can take the debate wherever you want.
I think that's
Kareem
true.
is the best basketball player, arguably
No.
one of the best basketball players of all time. He's
Yeah,
won on every single level.
you're right. He is arguably one of the best basketball players of all time.
This
But
nigga. If LeBron was
no,
if LeBron didn't go to Miami and was a Knick, this motherfucker Tavares would be hating this man. He would
no,
hate LeBron. Just
I
like
like
you
the
do
guy.
Tom Brady. You know how
My,
I know? Because you hate Tom Brady.
I do hate Tom Brady because he's a cheating piece of shit.
And he's the same guy as LeBron is.
Well,
How LeBron
no,
cheats?
because Tom Brady is the GOAT at his position.
Well, because you only say he's the GOAT because of his accolades. So if you're gonna
Does
respect
he?
Brady?
LeBron, if you're gonna respect LeBron's accolades, you gotta respect Brady's accolades.
No,
I got you.
So I don't like Tom Brady because his accolades are some of them are
Here we
bullshit.
go. Here we go.
Okay, LeBron getting the ring in the bubble. Bullshit.
Well, since we're here, the Celtics won the NBA championship. And I don't know about you, but this seems to be the quietest championship,
Ever.
like
No one
news
cares.
wise,
No.
that
The media gets it.
remember.
The media gets it. Like the whole thing that I've been saying about them not playing anybody, they understand that. And I think the Celtics even understand that. And that's why you don't see them out there, going crazy. They didn't even go home after they won. They left and went to Miami.
That's wild.
They
Dog,
didn't win the
They
championship.
killing Jason Tatum though for all the shit he was doing, acting like everybody else.
They didn't win the
They
championship against Miami in Miami. And then so they stayed and partied and then went home the next day. They left Boston. They won on their home floor and then went to Miami.
Well, to be fair, to be 100% fair, if you had a choice to party in Miami or Boston, and they're black. So it's different if you're partying in Boston and you're white, because Boston is a bunch of racist motherfuckers. And that's got to be another thing. Like, we got to talk about the feeling of being a black athlete and winning a championship for a city that is like touted as one of the most racist in the country.
Yeah.
How does that feel as an athlete?
It has to suck. Bill Russell even said it sucked.
Yeah.
Bill Russell even said, I won these people a championship. I coached them a championship. I played for them a championship. And they still called me nigger. Reggie Miller, the best thing that the state of Indiana has had since Larry Bird was born. Motherfuckers still call him a nigger, no matter what. I mean,
and I
Jesus
mean,
Christ.
you hear players say it all the time. I saw LeBron on the shop who was saying, he hates Boston. He's like, they're racist as fuck. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Boston, this championship, like you said, Steve, the shit has been mad muted. I don't see a lot of, like I saw the social media stuff the night of the next day, and then I saw some stuff from the parade, and like that's like kind of it, and I'm happy for it because I hate Boston. I didn't want them to win. My feelings on them are known on the pod. I think Tatum is super overrated as a star. And what made it worse for Tatum is, like Steve said, with it, everything just seemed fake. It seemed rehearsed. It seems like he just sat down and watched championship moments on YouTube and was like, I'm gonna do that, instead of just letting it happen naturally. You know what I mean? We did it.
It didn't. It didn't even look like
anything's possible. I know he didn't say
even
that.
look like they felt like they earned it. It didn't look like they felt. Yeah, just and not to mention all of the referee help they've gotten all season.
Yeah,
and in the playoffs.
While we're
the officiating in the finals was disgusting.
You know what made me mad about it? Like y'all champions right now, so you get to talk your shit. I get it, but don't say stuff that's just not true. And they asked him, how was it, beating Miami, given that they knocked you guys out, last year, boop, boop, boop. And, it seems like it's always tough, when you guys got to play Miami. And he said, it's never tough. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They knocked y'all out last year. And they knocked y'all out 2 years before that. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, yo?
Tatum has to say stuff like that to go viral because he didn't even get MVP. Like, if I told you the Boston Celtics won the championship and I asked you anytime before Game 7 or Game 5, who's going to be, or before the series started, who's going to be the MVP of the series if Boston wins this championship, you would say Tatum. Nobody would say Jaylen Brown. Nobody. And so the fact that Jaylen Brown won that MVP, Tatum tried to front like he was happy for him. Oh, he's my guy. He's my MVP. Like, he's doing that. But in the back of his head, it still sits there to be like if if Jordan ever lost Finals MVP to Scottie Pippen, dog, he would be acting like Scottie Pippen is acting about him right now. Like,
I think.
Go ahead.
I think the voters got it wrong on that MVP, because when you look at it statistically, Tatum led the team in scoring, assists, and rebounds
in the finals.
And and he even scored. He's the only one on the Celtics that even scored 30 points twice. I think that EJ says this a lot of times, and Steve says it sometimes too, about being a prisoner of the moment. And I think that Jaylen Brown had these big moments in the finals, and that's what stuck in the voters' head to make it seem like he was more impactful because of these big moments, and that led him to get that MVP. But I think that you could say, based on, like, statistically they were close, so you could see it going either way. So maybe the argument is they were close.
Yo, don't open
and
your
then you
mouth
look
like
at these
that
big
at the mic,
moments.
EJ.
But I think the voters got it
yourself.
wrong there.
The thing is that you better pause yourself next time. Don't just stop. Next time, just say pause. You don't even gotta say nothing. Just pause it.
Yo, I think had he not gotten injured, Kristaps Porzingis was going to be the MVP.
Possibly.
Had he not had that little injury.
Possibly.
Everything was trending for him to be the MVP. The announcers, Doris Burke was on his nuts. Well, I think it was Doris Burke. They were just on his nuts. Like, it was nasty. But I don't know what that injury was, though. What was that injury? Like,
it was something with his.
Did you say rectal? Oh my god!
They said rectal. I don't know.
No, I think it was his thigh. Rectal. Yo, before we do that, let's take a quick minute because we missed it last week. Rest in peace to Bill Walton. Bill Walton was one of my favorite commentators coming up watching basketball. So quick clip of him because he used to make me laugh.
Take a bite out of it while it's lit.
I fuck with Bill Walton.
Say, oh, I'm kidding.
This is an excellent shirt, by the way. I've got one of those.
This is your shirt.
That's my shirt.
It is.
Quack, quack.
Full doubted whether you actually drove to Temecula.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt. You
don't.
You do it like this. You get it. You sort of rub it on. Get it, and then you just sort of, okay, now I'm ready to go. It's National Popcorn Day, please. Party on. It's a wonderful day. It's Oregon. The sun was out. Come on.
I think with Brooks on the floor, his goggles came off.
He's getting up quicker than Nate Robinson did. Maybe I'll just skip down right here.
Bill is taking his shirt off. He isn't wearing deodorant. Taking his shirt off.
It's Monofuku's Andu's birthday.
I like
Andu. He's the inventor of the instant noodle. And thank you. I love my noodle. It doesn't get any better than this. I just got laid. Oh, I love my chocolate. Oh.
Bill Walton is one of my favorite commentators, man. I mean, obviously, none of us were around when he played basketball or old enough to watch basketball when he was around playing. But shout out to him, man. I mean, and I'm pretty sure, didn't he like take a stand or something? You guys probably know that better than me because I don't really care about that.
No.
He took some type of stand against Boston for not wanting to pay him or some wild ass shit. Or maybe it was whoever he played for before Boston, the Lakers or whatever. But shout out to him. I mean, his commentating days, he was a funny guy. When he did the NBA, I thought he was funnier than the NCAA. In the NBA, he used to just call people out for being boneheads and doing wild ass shit. So
I didn't
rest
like
in
dealing
peace.
with him. He used to say racist adjacent shit to me.
To you?
In my opinion,
Oh,
he had a lot of smoke for a lot of players. To me, unwarrantedly, seemingly, hating. I didn't like him.
I fuck
Yeah.
with him.
Also, rest in peace to Willie Mays, man. He died this week.
Best center
Oh,
fielder to ever play the game.
is Willie Mays the best baseball player of all time?
No,
I know they like to say Babe Ruth.
he's one of them. He's one of them. Willie Mays is definitely one of them. I mean, Barry Bonds could be argued as the best baseball player all time,
Did,
but
did Willie Mays ever lose out on stats? Like, do we have all of his stats, or did he lose stats from
so
pre-Negro leagues that we're going to see come out?
he's probably gonna have some things come into play stat wise. But I mean, he has he had the runs. I mean, I don't know. It should fare towards him. It definitely should. But I mean, for him to play at the level that he did after all of the years of having to play Negro League ball and to be that impactful in the MLB, he's the greatest center fielder of all time. All time.
Rest in peace, Willie Mays, man. That dude is. They made a character about him on Major League. Willie Mays Hayes
Yeah.
with
Wesley Snipes.
the tax guy. Yeah,
You will not call him that. It's
Willie
Wesley
Mays
Snipes.
Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes. Yo, Wesley Snipes is a slept on guy. Yo, if we ever really sit down and dig into the impact that guy has had, I mean,
He's one of the best black actors we've had.
just take Joanna Man. Was it Joanna Man?
No, that wasn't him.
What was the one what was the one that he was in?
Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong
Yeah,
Fu.
take
Jesus
that
Christ.
one out of his thing.
Yeah, remove that from his catalog. That was
Oh,
nasty.
White Men Can't Jump, like
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man,
Um,
Blade,
57.
Passenger 57, Blade is a
Pastor
big one.
57.
New Jack
Blade is a
City.
huge one for the Marvel universe. New Jack City.
Oh, New Jack City.
Oof.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Oof.
Wesley Snipes is. Yeah, you got to give him his flowers, man.
No question.
And it slowed down significantly after the
But a
him
man
getting
went to
arrested.
jail.
I mean, but even still, when he got
They
out,
sent the motherfucker to jail for years.
still the GOAT. Not the GOAT.
When he got out, he had that TV show on CBS, but it didn't. I watched it, but it didn't do well in ratings, so it got canceled.
Nigga had a TV show. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like on CBS or something. It was like it was like one of those shows where like he was running some kind of like secret operative shit that he was in charge of, and
I didn't
it
know
was
that.
like some kind of it was based in Vegas, so it was like some kind of underground like betting thing. Like they would call a guy and make him do something or whatever, and then like they got like people watching all over the city, and like they got like rich people making bets like in some kind of underground gambling shit or whatever. But
yeah, only you and him saw it.
yeah.
Right. It was two of y'all watching that shit on. That's why it got canceled. You and Wesley.
And him. I never knew that.
Yeah. My wife always does that. Like it'd be shocked. I can't believe they canceled that show. It'd be like a show. She'd be like, you always like bad shit or whatever. Well, they didn't give it a chance. Like, you know, like,
yo, she said you always like bad shit. That's wild.
She right.
So listen, if you're in Hollywood, don't make a show that fucking Vari likes and only Vari likes.
Right. It's likely gonna fail.
It's likely gonna get canceled.
Shit.
Since we're in Hollywood, VP, this is your moment. This is your shining moment. This is the time.
Fuck does magnanimous mean?
that was from the show last week.
It means he wears magnets.
No, I know that's what he said. That's what he said in the show.
Yeah, people don't know
He
what
said he didn't know what it means. Mm-hmm.
What you think?
So, no, I thought it was a good opener. Like I told you when we talked about it after season 1 ended, when we previewed season 2 last week, I was telling you that based on the way the events happened, either is going to be on and popping from episode 1, or episode 1 is just going to be like a little bit of a like catch you up on what's happened since then, and then episode 2 it was going to be on and popping. But you know, they got it popping off on a episode 1, so you know,
They chose
now,
violence.
yeah, here we go. You know, they've introduced us to some people. You know, those people will become more important later in the episode. You know, and then they did the whole blood and cheese storyline where you see the kid get got. So you know,
The kid get got. Yo, you're savage. Yo, that was crazy, man. It was a good opener. It was to your point. You know, it was paced well. We knew what was going on, and you know, she got her get back, yo.
I want Aemond Targaryen.
Welcome to Watch Mojo.
Yo,
yeah. And then that's the only, you know, I didn't realize they said it in the like the director talk afterwards that was her only line in the episode.
oh shit,
Wow.
I
Yeah,
didn't realize that either.
Mhm.
Yo,
that's true. And,
Dame-
and that was some pretty good acting on her part, because
She
when
killed
she comes to the beach, to the shore, wherever, and
Mhm.
you see the dragon remains, nothing of her son. You know, what I mean, she's grieving as a mom, and then they pointed out that that was her dragon's kid. So they were both grieving, and it was a nonverbal scene, and you still felt the pain. So it was like, all right, somebody gotta get fucked up now. That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yep. So it was pretty good. I liked it, man. And you know, it should only get better based on you know, the next, you know, the events that are coming. So, you know,
I told you guys how it was gonna start. I told you it was gonna be a slow start. Like, yo, welcome to the season. Have a seat, sit on the couch, and now it's about to get popping, because it started super slow, and for that I have to go back, maybe watch like some recaps on YouTube or something of season 1, because I caught myself, because they gave us that major layoff, forgetting like at the beginning. I'm like, damn, who the fuck was that again? You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think they did okay reintroducing, but
who'd you forget? They showed most of the main people.
I didn't remember the black guy.
It's Steve, yo. It's Steve.
Who, Corliss?
Yeah.
With the
I
I thought
dread?
he died. I thought he died. All black people die in these shows, yo. They're like, what are we talking about? Anyhow.
Yo, rest in peace, what's her name? Missandra? What was her name? From Dorne?
Cool. Oh,
Missandra?
no,
I
she wasn't
can't.
from Dorne.
Oh,
What are you talking
where
about?
was she from?
Masande. The translator.
Yeah, rest in peace to her. Her beautiful.
She was from
She got
North.
killed?
Her beautiful,
She got killed?
beautiful.
In season 8.
Yeah, her beautiful.
Remember they
Oh,
chopped
y'all
her head off?
talking? Oh, y'all talking about Game
He
of
went back to
Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I'm
See,
just
this is what
saying.
I'm talking
Rest-
about. You like
you said all the black people get killed. I agree with you, and brought up one of the main black people they killed. Like they killed
don't care
literally all
about
the black
her.
people.
You
I
don't
do
care about her. You care about her areolas. Them shits. Dog.
Oh,
Listen.
Mm.
Um
God.
I can see the actors aged a little bit.
Yeah. You can definitely
tell
see
that they
the
aged.
time off. Oh, you can definitely see the time off in their faces with the age.
The ones that played the sons, they got bigger. That played Rhaenyra's son. That scene right there almost got me, yo.
Yeah, that scene, man,
It almost got me, yo.
because it seems so real, you know.
Yeah, she did. They both, like, she did good, and then he did good. I don't know which one of them took it over. She did well the whole time, from the point where, you know, she flew down and she saw, you know, she found the whatever she needed to find. I thought she did well there, but then when they got to that chamber, and he was like, "Yo, we got the Starks and blah blah blah," and yo, I was like, I had to open my eyes real wide. You know, when you start to get the little buildup down here and you open it up to you like, so the ducts open and get some air.
Yeah.
They almost got me, yo. That's the parent side, yo.
One thing I wanted to get that I guess it just wasn't time for. Plus, you know, you got to think about budget with battles and stuff like that. Is a piece of this that's missing is why, like, you know, the whole the thing with how the Starks don't like commit their full army. He tells them like, I can give you all these old guys or whatever. Part of what's happening there is that there's some backstory to it, that the Starks just got finished fighting a war. Plus, you know, you have, you know, winter coming or whatever. But in the way they tell it in the books is basically like, it's just that the North is so far from the South. So one thing Game of Thrones never really did a good job of, like they do in the books, is explaining like how big the North is.
How many
And it's
days away it is?
huh? What's that?
Like how many days? How many days is the North is from the South?
Right. It's so far because the North is so big. Like the North is bigger than all of the other 6 kingdoms combined or whatever. You know?
JetBlue don't make it there.
So
Nah,
that's
only
why,
Spirit.
like,
Only
when
Spirit
you
goes
get,
to the
Oh,
wall.
then I'm definitely not going.
that's why, like, when you get episode 1 of the original series and they arrive in Winterfell, you hear Cersei tell Robert, like, yo, we've been riding for a month. Like, it took them a month to get from King's Landing to Winterfell because the North is so big. And so in the books, what essentially happens is that, you know, Cregan Stark, you know, honors his oath and says, yeah, I'm riding with Rhaenyra, but he has to gather his forces, and it takes so long because the North is so big for them to march from Winterfell to get down to the fighting, to where, you know, he gets there, you know, later or whatever. But also the part that I'm talking about that you don't see is the Starks have just fought a war because Cregan Stark, the guy who's the Lord of Winterfell in this season 2, when his father dies, Rickon, he was only 13, so he couldn't take over as Lord. So his uncle takes over as regent. And then when he turns 16, he's considered a man, and so he's supposed to take over as Lord. His uncle tries to usurp him, which is also why not only he's honoring his oath, because that's just what Starks do, but he's feeling Rhaenyra's side because Rhaenyra is being usurped by her brother, just like he just got usurped by his uncle. You know what I mean? And so he had to go to war with his uncle to end up getting back his seat at Winterfell.
Yo, traveling a month to another kingdom, my nigga, is a long time, yo.
On a horse.
It's a long time, my nigga.
On a horse,
Yo,
dog. Like, imagine
a
your
month?
balls, yo. Like
a month though. That's crazy.
and then in
You
between,
might fuck around, go through a whole season.
in between, that's true. In between, like the North and the South, who knows what you run into? Like,
yeah, you
could run into beef. You could run into, you know, people trying to get at you. You could run into like the mountain, you know, cats like that that's out there. Like, I'm trying to get my get back. You know,
That's wild.
I feel like they did an amazing job in that scene. I feel like my boy Damon is been on go. My boy Damon stay on ready. He
said,
yo,
bitch,
the first thing he
if
said,
you'd did your job, we wouldn't be in this fucking problem.
yep.
If you'd have just killed them when you had the chance,
If you killed these niggas, then we wouldn't even have a season 2. We wouldn't even be acting right now.
I didn't like that scene though. Not the scene with Damon and her when he says that to her, like with them putting that in there last season, because that didn't happen in the books at all. That's something they made up for the show.
Oh, okay.
And like you have to think, like, in that kind of time, like they know, like if like this kind of stuff happened in real life, she would have done it, you know. So it just, and then the reason they gave for her not doing it was like, oh, she looked at Allison and she's a mother. Allison's a mother, and she just couldn't do it, you know. And it's like, she just killed 300 people when that dragon hopped out of the floor.
And my people,
and some of them were mothers. You know?
Yeah, nah, it's a wrap. My boy Damon was like, "Yo, did you feel better now? You feel good? All right now? Like, did you find what you needed? Because I'm ready. I've been ready to set it off for a little minute, and somebody got to do something with this serpent. Like, I need you to get the royal serpent, queen. Like, because what's her Allison over there getting a munch. My boy is a whole munch. The first time we seen him, he eating cooch in armor. Like, see, these bitches in 2024 need to respect us when we keep our socks on, yo. My man had all his armor on. Like, yo, don't give me a hard
Yeah.
time for keeping my socks on, yo.
Yeah,
Back in
that
the
was
day,
wild.
he had his whole ass arm.
I like that.
He's a.
I like that scene too.
That shit
I
was
bet
funny.
you did. You
No,
freak.
because it's like I told you, Steve.
Freaky ass
Remember, like I
nigga,
said,
69 God. Go ahead.
in the book for this story, like I told you, like George R. R. Martin introduces unreliable narrators, right? And so, like when you watch, like not when you watch, when you read the original series, everything is based on the character's perspective. So you read a chapter that's called Brand One, and so everything that's happening is happening from Brand's perspective. You're
And it's
you're
filthy,
getting
yo.
Brand's thoughts, Ned's thoughts, Daenerys' thoughts, whoever, right?
That was
Whereas
Brand's
this,
porn, yo, all that time. He pulled his
whereas
eyes
this,
back,
this
looking at
story
The
Allison's
here,
Raven popping
titties.
up on nigga shit like
Brand like, yo, Allison
popping
got
up
some
in
titties
timelines
on.
like my
She in the
auntie and
bath?
shit.
whereas this story here is basically told from three different perspectives. It's this character named Mushroom, who was a court jester for Viserys the king,
Okay.
the Grand Maester, the black dude who's the Maester, and then one of the Septon Eustace, the guy who crowned Aegon at the end of season 1. They're the ones who have narrated this whole thing to say this is what happened. But a lot of the events they describe in the book, they weren't even there for. So like all the stuff that happened between Cregan Stark and Jace at the wall, Septon Eustace is who tells the people who wrote the story at the for the Maesters. He tells them what happened. He's in King's Landing. How the hell you know what happened at the wall? You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
so that's why. So like with Allison and Kristen Cole, it's rumored that Allison had been, messing with people. What Cole wasn't one of them or whatever, but they just went ahead and made, because it seemed you could tell something's happening between them even in season 1. So they just went ahead and, I guess, for the show to make it easier to just make it him.
Got
You know what I'm
right to
saying?
it.
Because
Twice in the
like
same
she's
episode.
rumored to even have been messing with Damon. You know what I'm saying? And so 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 the show does a good job of like taking some of these rumors and like saying, hey, this is how it happened or whatever. The one bad thing they did though is well, I don't know if I want to say it because I don't want to spoil that for you guys.
Don't spoil it. I hate her father, yo. I hate her father.
Yeah, Otto's a
The
bitch.
hand. I hate Otto. And Crooked Foot could never be Littlefinger. Let's just get that out the way
They
right
trying
now.
too hard with him.
Yeah. He could go. Somebody need to burn him up, cut his little foot off, whatever. But he could get the fuck up out of here. We don't need him in his strong foot.
They trying way too hard with him.
Yeah, I don't like it. It. But Damon is the MVP. Damon is the MVP. My boy said, my boy went down there and caught like some bum ass. I mean, he had the big dude, but
that
they
big
found
dude's voice was like menacing, yo.
Mm-hmm. They found some bum ass dude was like, yo, you be doing you did landscaping over there? You be cutting their lawn, right? You cut their lawn, you know how to get up in there. Yeah, we need to kill this. We need to kill somebody. I don't.
Did that happen in the books?
Yeah. The only difference is that in the books, when they're trying to find Aemon in the castle, they actually go through more security than they in the show. They just made it seem like they're just walking
no
around.
security.
Yeah,
Nobody
just
knows.
Walked in, it was nothing. Like
so, but yeah, they actually have to go the way they eventually
why didn't we
get
try
up
this
to
earlier?
Right.
Right.
Why didn't Damon just walk up in there? It was that easy.
Like the way and the way they end up like getting in is they go in between the walls of the Tower of the Hand, which is like where Otto, like whoever the Hand of the King is, that where they reside, and they sneak in through his chambers and then sneak past guards and all kind of stuff like that. But in the show, they just made it seem like, oh, it's nighttime, everybody's off.
For time. Yeah, exactly. We don't got no night crew. This was before we had 24-hour service. But in the book, do they let the little midwife live and all that?
Like
Like,
they don't
it
run
happened
there.
in the show?
They
Oh,
never
okay.
run there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, yo, you got to kill her.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you
She the
not
only
smoke
one
her?
that. Right.
They could have just killed her and killed both babies.
Dog, I am a landscaper. I can't hide like the rest of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? All she has to do is be like, yo, it was him. She should like, but I get it.
Yeah.
But that was kind of
It was a good start.
It was kind of crazy. I'm surprised we didn't see people like protesting a baby, like.
Oh no, they did, Steve. But the
they
wrong
did?
thing. They were upset about the dog getting kicked.
Oh,
Remember
I
told you
didn't like.
before,
I didn't like.
nigga.
I didn't like that
Yo.
neither. Yo. I didn't like that.
You know, people don't value human life. They kicked the dog. Like, yo, this guy gotta go.
Yeah.
Yo, did they
Forget that he
fake
just
that? You think
slashed
they
a
faked that?
child. Like, people
I
are
didn't
going
like
crazy about them kicking that dog online.
You
I
think that
didn't
was
like-
real, or did
No, that was.
Nah,
It
that
was
was
C-
this is
CGI.
definitely fake. But the fact that people are so upset at, like, you watch a sequence where a guy kicks a dog, and then 5 minutes later he stabs an
Murdered a
infant to
baby.
death, and people are upset
I
about the
think,
dog.
did he behead him?
No, they
did he
just
behead
stabbed
him?
him up.
Because it sounded like they were making it seem like he beheaded
No,
him. or
they
something.
stabbed him up, and then they put him in two.
Into what? They cut him in half.
In the pieces.
Not half. You know, like a the top half or the top third.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
no
I
longer
mean, he
attached.
behead him, but
Yeah,
Damn,
there you go. I'm trying to avoid saying it, but they beheaded him.
that's what
yeah.
EJ said.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
catch it. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
They
crazy.
made the noise of him. He was going through it. The knife was not sharp at all. The blade was not sharp at all. My man was sawing for a minute. Like,
He was using a little pocket knife.
sawing for
Yo, give me
he
that.
cut him with a Swiss Army knife.
That poor
Yo,
and
that poor baby.
the bitch told him the right baby.
Yeah,
He was like, "No, she's telling the truth."
Yo,
she was
however
gonna
he
give up
said
the
it.
son. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
she's speaking the truth.
she probably like.
I'm like, you
"Man,
couldn't.
They not
but-
giving me enough rupees anyway.
Part of the reason why they did that also is that her and they actually have 3 kids. In the show, they're only showing it as 2. And
Mhm.
so what ends up happening is, so the 2 that you see in the show, they're twins, Jaharis and Jahara. And then they have another kid named starts with a D. It's like Maylor, or actually, yeah, Maylor. And so what
It's not
happens
a
is
D
when
at
they
all.
sleep, it's the 2 sons that are asleep next to each other. And so they're trying to figure out which one is the heir or whatever, you know. But in this one, they made it the twins. And most people think it's probably just because, you know, it's hard to get child actors, you know, for all the regulations with how
And
much screen time.
expensive and
Yeah. So
And
they probably
Nickelodeon.
like,
I was
Yeah,
to say
it-
Nickelodeon fucked it up for everybody.
ain't nobody kids getting fucking nobody kids getting canceled.
so,
Oh
but yeah,
shit!
so I guess for whatever reason they just didn't put the 3rd kid in the mix. So same thing with Allison in the series. They just make it seem like it's the Eamon, Aegon, and Helena, but they actually have a 4th kid or whatever who they've never introduced in the show at all. But the 4th kid is in Old Town with Allison's family.
Yo, it's about to be some shit. Like episode 2 about to be fire. What are your predictions for episode 2?
I think it slows down. I think they're gonna, you know, it's gonna not slow down, but I think it's gonna be like more of a setup where, you know, because remember I told you this whole story takes place over 1 chapter in the books. This whole and I think they're supposed to make 4 seasons. So I think they can't just rush
us
into
everything.
everything. You know.
I don't know what to expect, to be honest. I have no expectations. I'm just there for the shits.
Yeah.
I
If
do
I had
want
to
to
guess,
I do
I
want to
would say
see someone get smashed though. We have not seen enough.
I would say the episode probably picks up, like, probably opens with like the castle being searched or something like that, you know, them trying to find them or something like that, you know, and then we get to the aftermath of, you know, them saying, what are we gonna do, you know, blah 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 blah, and then maybe you go back to Rhaenyra and her saying like, yo, what the fuck did you do? That's not what I wanted, you know, about, you know, that kind
I
of
think
thing.
it opens with that. I think it opens with Rhaenyra and Damon and they like, yo, he like, yo, my queen, my lord, whatever the fuck she's called, like, yo, let me
My
tell you what I
Negro.
just did. I couldn't get you Aegon, but let me tell you what I got. Let me tell you what I got.
Oh, they definitely gonna bring the kid's body to her. Definitely
Think
gonna
so?
bring the head, yeah, because that's probably how she's gonna know they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
True.
Like, yo, what is this? You gave me great value. I asked you for Walmart.
Right. Exactly. I wanted Fruit Loops. You gave me Fruitios, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. I need a real deal.
I'm like, all right, this will do.
This episode, we got to see. I think we have to see some flames out of a dragon somewhere.
Agreed.
Like you. Here's my thing. You can't have 2 slow episodes. You're gonna. I mean, it's a cult.
Well, they're gonna
Like,
look at it. They look at it probably like episode 1 wasn't slow.
oh, that shit was slow, nigga. Slow until it got fast. It was like you ever had diarrhea, but the hard poop comes first. Like that's what that order, all the farts, and then you know what I'm saying. Like that's how that was. It was like, you know, you know, bloop bloop
It was
bloop
kind of slow,
bloop.
and it was. I had to go back and rewatch
Like
it.
yeah, it
No,
was.
I don't disagree that it was slow. I'm saying they probably don't look at it as being
No,
slow because
they feel like it
they
was
thinking like,
phenomenal.
you
They
know, we
gave us
gave you a
something.
big ending.
We killed the baby. What more do
Yeah.
you want?
Well, killing babies is what makes Game of Thrones big, right? Like
Yeah,
people got caught because they pushed a kid out of a window.
window.
Yeah.
While
Then
after
Red
they were
Wedding.
smashing.
You know what I mean? And you get Red Wedding. Now you got like they're doing some big ones, but I need like people are here for the dragons. Nobody's here for the other storylines and stuff. Like give me the dragons
You got 3
and
dragons in episode 1.
and yeah, but we just saw them. I don't just want to see a dragon. Like it's just seeing some titties. I want to suck some titties. Like what's the difference? Um, just kidding. I'm married. Uh, um,
You a wild dude.
what was I saying before Vari interrupted me?
Titties.
Oh, also, what's your team? What side you on?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I'm like
I'm on
Rhaenyra.
Team Black, man.
Yeah,
EJ, you team black?
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm team black. But it seems to me like team black is fire. Like even like all the I just they got to do better on the other side. They got to get better writing on the other side. Cuz even when they're in like the chambers and they're doing their little meetings and shit, what made you think having a little kid bothering somebody else was going to be like, something noteworthy for people to watch? Was that a setup to say, oh, he's important, he really loves his son? Maybe that's what it was. He really loves his son. He likes seeing, you see how he reacted to his son, with whatever his name was, and now they killed his son, so now he's gonna go crazy. Like I don't know, but their
I think
whole go ahead.
they were doing 2 things. I think they were doing 2 things. One, they're trying to introduce you to this kid that you never met that was going to become important later in the episode. But 2, I think they also were trying to just show you that he's unfit.
To
Like
be king.
Like Trump.
yeah, like you see last season, they're trying to find him and he's, out drunk somewhere. He's a prince, and they show you, he potentially has this bastard kid that's in these fighting pits or
He
whatever.
went to the brothel last season too, right? Was it him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so now this season, you see him bringing a child. They're in the middle of a war council. This is a meeting about planning a war, and you
Right.
got a kid there, and you're talking about giving him pony rides and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I think they were just trying to show that, this guy is unfit, but because he's the guy, we're all like, I mean, you said it, Steve, like Trump, everybody's just pretending like, oh yeah, this guy, the magnanimous, even though he's unfit, like
That shit was funny.
your father essentially died from getting a cut from the throne that made him lose his limbs and his face and all kind of crap. and you're just scrolled out on the throne like it's a love seat or whatever, with no, you know what I mean? Like he's just he's out of pocket, yeah.
Yeah, he's immature. You can tell he's immature. And
Let me ask you this. I think we said this before. I think we've asked this question before, but is the Red Wedding still the most?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even got to finish, no matter what you say. I
You
think
know the
that's
only,
the
you know the only
well.
on-screen death. You know the on-screen death that was most tragic to me when Opie got killed in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, that's one of them. I think mine
Jeez.
is Scar killing Mufasa. I still cry. I still cry today. Like,
Yeah, that was
and it's going to be in live action at some point, right? No, it was in live action when they did the Lion King, but we're gonna see the story of Mufasa soon, so that's gonna really piss you off.
I don't know if I can watch it.
The Red Wedding was tough, man. It was tough.
You think the Red Wedding is a bigger scene than Jon Snow against all the White Walkers, or the war?
For me, it was. It's just, I look at. I've told
that
you
shit
guys
was
this before.
crazy watching that episode.
Every episode of Game of Thrones I've seen at least twice, except for the Red Wedding. I've only seen that episode one time. I just can't watch it again. Like
I've never watched it again either.
So, it's like it's because it's like it's coming. It was bad, man. I'm not saying bad like it wasn't a good scene.
Right.
Like it got me. And also because like for me, the show sets you up to make you think like the Starks are like the main characters.
Yeah, they do.
And then so you watch season 1, they kill Ned, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? And then they murder his whole family and shit. It's like what am I watching?
And they and to me, they never really got real justice for that shit.
Right.
Not only did they set it, like you say, they set it up that way. They made Ned Stark the cover guy for season, like to sell the shit. Like, yo, this new show is coming out, and you looking at Ned on the thing with his.
And he was the most notable actor.
Because he was the most notable actor. He was the most notable. Sean Bean was the most notable person. I think that's why they put his face on it like that.
And they fucking cut his head off.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to see him in the sword fight.
It was crazy, yo. So like to see that, it was just like it was tough, man.
They should have had some CGI wolves running around in the north when he was up there. Like, you got to give me something. Give me more than just this normal bullshit. Like, you got to play back to Game of Thrones, because House of Dragon, it's carrying, but it's summer. It's if it was an October show, I think it carries easier with some of this lame shit. But for somebody to come home on a Sunday in summer and expect to sit down and watch a show, like I need more.
It's episode 1, Steve. Like,
That's what I'm saying. But it's still episode 1, you left me on a wild ass cliffhanger, and then you don't give me nothing till 5 minutes at the end. That's like a bad blowjob. Like, and then all of a sudden, now she wanted to give you the, oh, you gotta spit on that shit. Give it some hot too.
A hot too. Man, when you sent that shit in the chat, you was like the hawk to it. Yo, VP was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Yo," I said, "Let me not say nothing because I don't know what's going on."
Yeah,
and then I saw the video. I was like, "Oh, this guy." I said, "Oh, the internet is wild. The internet is a wild place, yo."
Yeah, man.
She's a wild one, yo.
She is famous now, yo.
That shit is.
She famous.
And she was just keeping it real on a drunk night out.
You're right.
She's like, you got a hawk too on that
thing. And she said that.
She's a beast, yo. I fuck with her. And she had a little Prada necklace, so she aight.
She liked the blackies.
I wonder if that's Nashville. Like, I wonder where that's.
I don't know where that was.
They was wilding.
Yeah, that shit was funny. Her whole life has changed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dog, imagine if you was her dad. Like, you her dad, you start scrolling through social media, like all the work you've done.
Katie?
All the work you've done. Right. To build
undone in 20 seconds.
Right.
Undone in 20 seconds.
Right. That should.
Yo, that's why they say don't get drunk and get in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Steve.
Her name is Chelsea. Her name is Chelsea Bradford, by the way.
Damn, people already put her government
Oh
out there.
yeah, that was quick. You know.
Yo, high school dude is like, yeah. That's wild, yo. That is
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's crazy what we make go viral in this world. Our society is so fucked up.
Fun times.
For
Fun
real.
times.
For real.
Mm-mm.
Let me check the notes here. VP, when is the debate?
This coming Thursday, 26th.
Oh shit.
What do
It's coming.
you how do you expect this to go down? Because I don't
Actually,
feel
no, I
like
think
Trump
it's 27th because Thursday's 27th. Sorry,
I don't feel like Trump is going to be dignified in any way. I feel like I don't even want Joe to do this because it's going to be like debating a child to some degree. Because this guy, I mean, all you got
Well,
to do is say felony 5,000 times, and I mean,
that's
he's
it.
going to
That's what
say
I
the
would be. I'd be childish like Trump always was.
but he doesn't live in reality. Like he
You going
doesn't
to
live in reality.
jail? You going to jail? If I was Biden, I'd be like, yo, you going to jail?
I wouldn't even
You
be
know.
able to take that shit seriously. Like you're a felon now, my boy. Like what are we doing?
VP, is it true that they put in tactics or buttons to be able to mute the mics this time?
Yeah.
I saw that online.
Yeah, when they set up the debate parameters, it was that they get this much time to respond, or this much time like to an initial question, this much time for a response, and then once your time expires, your mic gets cut off because they're trying to avoid what happened in the last time they debated, where Trump was just like over talking and trying to he being himself basically,
Right.
um yeah, I think the reason that Biden did this, I think it was smart to do the debate. Is that one for two reasons. The first is that Trump has been Biden can't get a lot of media attention because the media is so focused on all these Trump trials, and that's why you saw at like that last week of the New York trial, you started seeing Biden's people go to New York, like when they had that event with Robert De Niro and stuff. And they were like, we're here because you're here, meaning the media, because like all the coverage was just focused on Trump. And there's some polling that indicates that that's hurting Biden because it's like, it's almost like people don't know he exists, And so I think one, they want to do this debate to get Biden back in like the national conversation. And then also two, it's very likely that Biden's going to have some kind of gaffe, whether it's a senior moment or just a straight up gaffe. But you do the debate in June, and that way it's so early that it can be easily forgotten by the time you get to October and people are starting to early vote, or because typically the debates start in September. They do the first one like mid-September, the next one like late September, and then the final one like the first week of October or something like that, right? But people are already voting and they start early voting in like late September in Virginia. They do like a month of early voting in Virginia. So here you do the debates mad early, so that way if something does happen, it can be forgotten about. But that cuts both ways, because if something happens with Trump, it can be forgotten about, But so I think it's a good idea to get it done now.
I'm pretty sure
And it might
Trump
be the only one as well, because they're supposed to have a second one. But I think if Trump does bad, they're not going to do the second, which is what happened last time. They ended up only doing one. So
I'm pretty sure Trump doesn't listen to any advisors,
no,
or whoever's advising him is absolutely like, you're a week before the debate and you're talking about getting rid of the educational system. What?
because
Like,
that's a Republican thing. They have been saying for years, since the George W. Bush years, they want to get rid of the Department of Energy, the Department of Education, and the EPA. And the Department of Education, because they're indoctrinating our children and they're making them become liberals and left wing by teaching them stuff that happened in American history, So we need to get rid of the Department of Education. We need to get rid of the Department of Energy because, they're holding back our oil production and stuff like that in this country, and then we need to get rid of the EPA because they're regulating our businesses too heavily by not letting them pollute rivers and air and stuff like that, like all the important stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I'm in a Disney group, Disney pass holder group,
Mhm.
and sure enough, I'm scrolling down the group or scrolling down my Facebook, motherfucker pops up. Oh, I'm going to Disney this week. Got all this fucking Trump gear on. Like shit, you can't escape these
Yeah.
people, yo. Like,
It's a cult, man. And that's, I remember I saw somebody who said in 2020, they were like, I know Biden didn't win, he never had any rallies or, I didn't see any Biden yard signs and stupid shit like that. Or when he did have a rally, there were only like 300 people there or whatever. And it was like, you know why? Because a lot of us said, man, there's a fucking global pandemic going around. I'm not going to show up to this fucking super spreader event and die,
not
So,
only
but
that,
for
but
them,
when's the last time you seen Rolls Royce do a commercial?
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Not never, because you don't need a Rolls Royce commercial. The shit don't sell anyway.
Right. I have seen a Rolls Royce commercial, but it was for like their jet engines.
Oh,
I've never seen one for the cars.
right. They are confident enough in their ability to create a product and sell and market a product, and that they don't need to do TV commercials. They don't need to be on the front line saying, "Hey, look at us" all the time. And I think that's what it is with the Trump supporters. And like, I told someone the other day, I'm like, yo, they're like, oh, you see all the Trump stickers and stuff all over. I'm like, yeah, because they're insecure. They're not confident. If they were truly that confident that this would be a landslide and this would be a victory, like they try to talk about after him getting convicted, they wouldn't need to do all of this. You wouldn't see them every single day and turning everything into Trump versus Biden, right versus left. You wouldn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, a lot of them are, and I think part of the problem with those folks too is that, most of us, we are supporters of whether it's a person, a policy, a party, or whatever, right? Whereas these people are fans and they act, I'll always say fan is short for fanatic, and they act like fanatics. They're completely delusional. Their guy can do no wrong, and they're crazy for this dude. And again, and they don't care about anything policy wise. He hates the people they hate, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff they say they care about, he does the opposite, and they seem to be fine with it. So they hate taxes, right? And Trump has said, "Oh, I want to get rid of all income taxes and just do tariffs," right? And you've already had people who come out and analyze this from a policy standpoint and said on low wage people, your taxes would increase by like 130% if they did that. Because most people who are low wage earners don't pay taxes. But now you're adding tariffs to everything, which is just taxes, but people are like, yeah. You know why? Because we're gonna stick to China. When you add tariffs to things, you're not hurting China, you're hurting Americans, because you're saying if you import anything from this country, you got to pay more for it.
They don't think they're poor. I think that's the reality too. I think some of them need some self-reflection. Like they think it's like being poor is a black thing. I think Trump supporters or broke Trump supporters, rednecks, like trailer trash thinks being poor or broke is a black thing. And they don't realize that they are also in that low class, and the effects that this stuff has on the low class is going to affect them directly as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the problem stands.
Yeah.
part of it.
And you know, and it's also part of that. It's probably that thing where it's like, I remember I saw somebody was talking about like back during like post slavery, right? And you know, speaking of, you know, like Juneteenth and stuff like that, and it was like you had, you know, poor whites who felt good because they were, you know, at least better than blacks. You know what I mean? Like, and you could have people who feel that way now or whatever. You know what I mean? And because I mean, you look at these poverty rates and like in places like in Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama, you know, and I just don't understand how people consistently vote against their own interests, you know. And you know, you have these folks who probably need to be on it probably are not just need to be on things like food stamps and Section 8 and stuff like that. And they keep voting for people who are cutting these programs that they're either on or should be on, at least, you know. And I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to watching the debate Thursday, or at least some of it, because I'm sure. What time does it start? 8 o'clock,
Probably 8.
8:30, something like that.
Yeah. And it's gonna
Maybe I'll set
be in,
set my
let's see where it's gonna
DVR.
be real quick. Um I think it's supposed to be in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Atlanta, yep. And the moderator
Atlanta.
is going to be Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, who I can't stand her, but we'll see what happens.
Where's she from?
CNN, both of them are from CNN's hosting it, so both of them are from CNN.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, oh, Dana Batch. That's the blonde chick, right?
Yeah, yep. So we'll see what happens, but yeah. So you know, it's gonna be interesting, but you know, I think one, you know, I've seen the Biden campaign come out. Like I was saying, I don't know if it was last pod or 2 pods ago, where I was like, they need to stop calling him a felon and start calling him a criminal. You know, and not that anything's wrong with felon, but I mean, I feel like criminal, one, hits harder, but two, it's just true. You know, he's a felon is a type of criminal. You know what I mean? So just call him what he is a criminal. He's a convicted, adjudicated criminal. He's an adjudicated rapist. You know, like just say those things. You know what I mean? Like you know, don't go in because some of the Trump debate strategy has already, you know, come out saying that he's planning on, you know, Hunter Biden, you know, whatever. And you know, I think Biden does well on when he talks about his kid. You know, he always says, I'm proud of him. You know, he's gotten help. He's gotten the help he's needed. You know, blah blah. I'm going to stay out of the process. Let the justice system do its thing or whatever. You know, he's saying the right thing. So I don't think he'll get tripped up on that or whatever. But you know, I think at the same time you have to hit this dude back and let people know like what this guy is. Like this guy is telling you that he should be president. He should be in charge of a 20+ trillion-dollar economy. He's not even allowed to do business in the state of New York anymore because he's been convicted of business fraud.
Right.
You know, in some states, this guy might have to register as a sex offender. You know, he may not be able to, you know, do photos with your kids in some states. You know, when he visits. You know what I mean? Like this dude might not be able to go overseas to talk to one of our allies because certain countries don't let felons in to visit. You know what I'm
That's true.
saying? There's like 60 countries he can't even visit because he's a felon now. You know what I mean? And so you just gotta hit him with shit like that or whatever. You know, this dude might not even be able to come to our next debate because you know his parole officer may not let him go. You know, so because he gets sentenced in July and the next debate is in September, you know,
He
like,
can't travel.
yeah, you know, so like you got to hit him with that kind of shit or whatever. And, you know, some people may think like, oh, that's kind of nasty, is below the belt, you know, whatever. But like it is what it is, you know, like at the end of the day, these folks have decided that this is who their standard bearer should be. and you got to let people know, like, you know, this thing is bigger than just saying like, oh, he got convicted or whatever. Like there's consequences to this stuff, you know. You know, it's possible that or not it's not possible because he lives in Florida, but you know, when it first happened, people thought like this guy won't even be able to vote for himself because he's going to lose his voting rights, you know, as a felon. But because Florida honors wherever your conviction came from, they honor what the laws are in that state. So in New York, you can vote as long as you're not in prison as an ex felon or as a felon or whatever. So he would still be able to vote in Florida. But you know, even the fact that people had to look into that, you know, like I think Biden them, they need to hit him over that and then hit him again and then keep hitting him over and over and over with that or whatever, you know.
Biden has to have some strong. He has to make some strong points. To your point, I think, and he needs to. He needs to drive it home at some point, even if it's not all the way until the end. Even if he's cordial throughout, and then at the end he just drives it home with whatever closing he has. Like, yo, I'm your best option. You know, and you know he has to be prepared to address the attacks on his son because we know
Yeah.
that's coming. They're going to be direct attacks, and they're going to try and make him guilty by association for being his father, and basically saying, you know, he's a direct reflection of his parent, and he's got to be ready to address that, which is perfectly fine. Address that throughout, but then at the end, you got to stick it home and stick it home before he can answer. Like, stick it home as your closing remarks to where he doesn't have an opportunity, just so that people leave there wondering, like, yo, this nigga really is, you know, a convicted felon at this point. What am I thinking? That's what I would like to see out of him. And if we don't
Yeah.
see that, then I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you just can't play fair.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
and
can't play
then
fair.
he also needs to make sure he said. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they're gonna have him say something like this, where when they bring up Hunter Biden, Hunter's not running for president. He's not asking for anybody's vote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, yeah, he did this gun crime. He was found guilty, and he's you know facing justice. He has another case in the tax thing. That case hasn't gone to court yet. We'll see what happens or whatever. But he's not asking for nobody's vote. You, sir, are, and you have been convicted of business fraud. You're an adjudicated rapist, and now you've been found guilty of falsifying business records. Why should we make you president?
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody
Agreed.
around you is a criminal. Your campaign manager was in prison, Paul Manafort. Your deputy campaign manager, Rick Gates, prison time. You know, your campaign lawyer, Jenna Ellis, pled guilty. Sidney Powell pled guilty. Boris Epstein just indicted in Arizona. Steve Bannon, your other campaign manager, getting ready to go to prison on July 1st. Roger Stone, prison. Peter Navarro, he's in prison right now. You know, on and on and on. That everybody around you, you're basically running a criminal organization, and the organization is reflecting its leader. They're all in prison. You're heading to prison. You know, he gotta just come at him. You know, and I know he's probably not gonna be able to just go down the list of names like that. You know, by his old, but you know, just say everybody. You know, he can just say that. The media will fill in the blanks afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, you got to let people know, like everybody around this dude is a criminal. He surrounds himself with criminals. You have to start asking yourself, you know, is it just this good man just somehow keeps picking the wrong people, or is he a criminal himself? You know, birds of a feather. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, we'll see. We'll see. Friday will be interesting. I'll tell you that. No matter what happens, Friday is going to be interesting all over the internet. There's going to be memes and videos of, yeah, it's going to be good.
Yep.
Both sides. Um. All right. That's it. That's it. It's noon. Go prep for some Sunday Fun Day festivities. So with that, I'll hand it to you to any last remarks and then get us up out of here.
All right, good people. We definitely appreciate you guys for joining us for this week's episode of the Castworthy Podcast. For the folks who listen live, we definitely appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday morning to rock with us. For the folks who listen on the episode post, we appreciate your time as well. Like we always say, you can find this episode on all podcasting platforms by searching at Castworthy. You can also follow us on any of our social media by searching at Castworthy. On Instagram, it's at Castworthy_podcast. While you're there, you can leave us a like, subscribe, share, follow, tell a friend and tell a friend, help us grow the audience. We very much appreciate it. And oh man, I almost forgot to say it. Make that phone call, send that text message, reach out to your people. You never know, how folks are doing. Pretty sure they'd love to hear from you. And on that note, let me say one other thing real quick too on that. Yesterday, Steve, we did the thing for TJ with him committing to his school, and a couple of his friends were there. And the one kid, was like, I've known TJ for like 8 years, and a couple years ago, we had this situation, and then he was like, with that family, and like we know what he's talking about, but like the other people who were in the room probably were like, and he was like, and I remember, I was doing really bad. And I heard TJ tell his mom, I need to stay here because I got to support my friend. He was like, you don't know how much that meant to me, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, like, you never know, like, how a single moment can impact another person. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you try to be, a good person, like, all the time, and that kind of thing. And so I basically say that to kind of, for the point that I'm just making with, making that phone call, sending that text message, reach out to people, letting them know, just, hey, I'm thinking about you. How you doing? What's going on? Whatever. And because you never know where folks are in life, you know what I mean? And so, reach out to folks, let them know you're thinking about them. And I'm pretty sure they'd be happy to hear from you, and you'll feel good about it too. But with that being said, man, House of the Dragon tonight, Team Black, let's get it. Glad almost football season, fuck Boston. And we'll see you guys next week with another fresh episode of the Castworthy Podcast. Until then, we out. We love you. Peace.